Moon Podcast Escalation! Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan D. White.
My name is Chris Sims, and this is Sailor Business. It's the podcast where we sit down with a friend and watch every single episode of the classic 1990s Sailor Moon anime and talk about why it is that we love it so very much. And it's 2020, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. On one of my other podcasts, the co-host always makes the same joke whenever we skip a week. Which is that it's been a while, but much like Alvin and the Chipmunks, we're back in style.
Oh.
And I hate it. But yes, we are back, and we thank you for joining us because we have, I mean, it's an episode. It's...
What?
It's...
You don't like this episode?
I thought this was a great episode.
Yeah, me too.
It's good. I don't know. It didn't throw me. We'll get into it. We are watching episode 181 of Sailor Stars, which is called, multiple titles, which is called Seiya and Usagi's Heart-Pounding Date.
Yeah.
And to help us with that, you've heard her a little bit already. We have legitimately one of my favorite people who has not been on the show before. Karen Cunningham is here. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am super excited for this.
I am super excited for you to be here. So
wait,
yes.
I'm sorry. You talking about the title and how it's got multiple translations made me look at it and realize that what it's called is Seiya to Usagi no Doki Doki Deto, and what that is literally saying is Seiya and Usagi's boom 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 date. That is heart sound.
Doki Doki.
Yeah,
but it's not
That's
just a
hilarious
heart
to me.
sound. It's also slang.
No, I get it, but it's an onomatopoeic sound or a word. It's like a that's great to me that they're like they translate it to heart pounding date because sure that makes sense, but it's like they're like here's the sound that it makes. Boom, boom.
I wish every episode had a title like that. Like it was Haruka and Michiru's Vroom Vroom Fun Time.
Oh my god!
yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Karen,
Yes.
what is your history with Sailor Moon?
This is actually really interesting because I found Sailor Moon without knowing that it was a TV show or an anime. I was in the 3rd grade and a girl in my class said, "We're going to play Sailor Moon today at recess and you're going to be Sailor Jupiter. Meet me under the tree." And I was like, okay. I had no fucking idea what that meant. So I got to the tree and she was like, "You're Sailor Jupiter and we're saving the universe." And I was like, okay. And that was what it was for like 6 months. And then finally, a girl in my class showed up with a binder that had Sailor Moon on it. And I was like, oh my God, this is real. Like, I thought that this girl, Nicole, in my class had made it up. So that's how I found it.
When you encountered it, like official Sailor Moon, were you like, this is all wrong?
No, because it was so vague. We would just kind of run around the playground, I thought Sailor Jupiter had a gun. Like, no one corrected me on anything. Like, she was just like, "You're Sailor Jupiter." And I was like, okay. And like, she was Sailor Moon, obviously. And all of our friends we were all different planets, and I had no idea what it meant. But after that, then I realized that it was a thing. And then at that point, it was on Toonami after school. So I would run home after school and watch it on Toonami.
I'm curious whether it was the Sailor or the Jupiter that made you think gun.
I truly don't remember. I just remember we would shoot at each other from like across the playground and like pretend that like we were shot. And then they would run over and be like, "Oh my God, Sailor Jupiter, are you okay?" And like I would get back up and be like, "I'm fine." Like I truly don't know.
Love it.
Two things just real quick. One, it's been a long time since we've had fan art for this show, and I would never demand that anyone do any fan art. However, if you feel like drawing Sailor Moon's pose, like the one I have a tattoo of, but with a gun in her hand, listeners, please.
Maybe I should. I think I might now that you said that. It never occurred to me.
So, like, I don't know enough about guns to be like, what gun does each Senshi have?
Me neither. I don't know anything about them at all. I was 8 years old.
I mean, Chibi has a cable gun, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Chibi's the only one who has an actual gun in the show.
And she is my favorite. She's my favorite character, too. I don't know if that's coincidence.
Your favorite character. Oh, my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, listen, while I was watching today, I let it play into the next episode, and I'm worried about where we're going from here. But my second question, Karen.
Yes.
Were you a tall kid?
No. But I had brown hair that I always wore in a ponytail.
Okay. That makes sense. Because knowing you, Mars, you would not be anything but Sailor Mars.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Wait. How tall are you?
I'm 5'1".
Okay, so you're not
I'm
the traditional Sailor Jupiter size.
I'm a very small person. Yeah.
You're taller than Sailor Moon.
Is she really? How tall is she?
Sailor Moon's 4'11".
With legs like that? That's the thing that kills me watching these episodes. I'm like, their legs are so fucking long. Like, how did I not remember?
Her torso is 6 inches long.
I know.
And this episode is especially egregious with that. She looks so thin and so tall.
Yes, I wrote that down in my notes. I was like, what is going on with her body?
Yeah.
But yes, so you found out it was real.
Yes, I found out it was real.
And you started watching it.
Yes, I started watching it. But here's the thing. I grew up, I was the oldest kid in my family. I didn't have anyone around to show me anime. So the only access that I had to it was what was on Toonami, which was obviously the dub. And it was only, I guess it would have been the first 4 seasons. So I have never seen Sailor Moon Stars up until you told me to be on this podcast. This is the first time I've ever watched it.
Same.
Wait, so did you watch all the episodes to catch up, or did you just jump into this one?
I watched all of them.
Wow.
I mainlined them, and I was like, wow, I don't know that I recommend that. I did all of them in maybe 36 hours.
What? Okay, wow. All right.
What? You mean all of them, or the ones before this?
No, this season. I watched a few from the season before this, and then all the ones in this season. It was exquisite torture. Trace, who hasn't been on this podcast, but he's been on other podcast groups, he's like, are you okay? Like, you can take a break. And I was like, no, I have to watch them all.
I would never recommend anyone watch anything from the previous season.
Yeah, it was a lot. This season is a lot, too, in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, you probably could have started at the I want to say the second half, but it's not second half, the second story. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I noticed that right as we got to it, and I was like, oh, none of that really mattered, I guess. Okay.
So did you, I mean, obviously, like, I have seen your art pieces of Sailor Moon, which are great.
Thank you.
You have an amazing print of Usagi as Princess Serenity that everyone should check out if they're unfamiliar with your work.
Oh, dang.
I think I saw that when you were at Heroes Con one year, and I was like I already knew Trace.
Yeah.
But I think I saw the Sailor Moon, and I just started talking to you about Sailor Moon one year.
Yes. Yeah, that was the first thing we ever talked about. And you told me, you're like, I have a podcast, and you should be on it. And I was like, okay. Yeah. That was 2017, maybe? Yeah. Wow.
All those long years ago.
Yeah, but I love Sailor Moon. I mean, my exposure to her was very limited because I only had that and the movies from Blockbuster. I would make my parents rent the movies over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know why they didn't buy it, because I would watch it once a week. But that's really it until I got older, and then I realized that there was so much more of it. And there were manga. I had no idea that there were manga of it. I was like truly in a bubble.
That is so cool that you have had new Sailor Moon for your entire life.
I really have. I continue to have it. And I mean, up until 2 weeks ago, maybe, I was like, man, these are episodes of Sailor Moon I've never seen. Like, that's really cool.
I mean, I guess technically I still have all of the manga, like most of the manga and Crystal.
But you haven't finished this yet, have you?
And musicals. No, I have not finished this yet. I've also never seen Sailor Stars before, Karen.
Oh, really? Oh, so are you watching this in real time? I had assumed that you'd seen all of them and you were kind of going back.
No,
That's me.
I had never seen anything past R.
Got it.
Jordan has, of course, seen it all. Like the way that Jordan and I became friends was he was watching all of Sailor Moon back in like 2008.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's the secret origin of this podcast.
Wow.
Well, Karen, I am so glad to have you here for this episode.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Before we get into the episode itself, though, I think we have a little bit of Sailor Business.
Oh.
We were talking about this a little bit off mic, but I think we are officially going to be moving to a bi-weekly schedule, which is essentially, at best, what we've been on for about a year.
Yeah.
How many episodes did we do in 2019, Jordan?
All right, let's look.
Do you want me to give you some, like, counting music?
No, I'm there. January 1.
Okay.
February 4. So that we're up to 5.
Okay.
March 2, so 7. April 3, that's 10. May we did 3, that's 13. June we did 4. Wow, that's 17. Then July we did 1, 18. August we did 2, that's 20. September we did 2, that's 22. October we did 2, that's 24. November we did 2, that's 26, and then 1 in December, so that's 27 episodes.
So essentially we were bi-weekly already.
Pretty close. Now the thing is, that includes the chibis that we did.
That does include the chibis. So that's
of which we didn't do many. In fact, you know what? Hold on. 1, 2,
intense counting action.
3. We did 3 chibis. So we did 24 episodes and 3 chibis.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, officially Sailor Business is going to be bi-weekly. Also, speaking of doing the chibi-sodes, I am going to be, by the time you hear this, hopefully I will have done it already. It's on my list of things I need to do. It's on my to-do list here on January 2nd, which is when we were recording. I am going to restructure the Patreon a little bit. Nothing is going to change in terms of like the reward levels. Those are pretty much going to stay where they are. I think I might just add a $10 one that you can just give us $10. It's the same as the $5 level, but you give us 10.
You can already do that. You could just put 10.
You could.
Okay, all right, go for it.
I might also add a nice number. Maybe I'll add the nice number.
No, what about $60,000?
Well, $60,000 is a milestone goal.
Right.
I'm going to be restructuring the milestone goals to better just reflect what we are capable of doing. I think right now, in fact, I know right now, we are supposed to be doing chibi-sodes of this show and Gabby-sodes of Xena once a month. And that is not happening. Nobody has complained about that ever, but I feel bad about it. So I'm going to officially be changing that around, just so you know, heads up. But other than that...
What are you going to change it to?
Oh, I'm just going to say that we're doing the chibi-sodes when we can. I might adjust, fiddle with some milestones, but again, nothing should change as of right now.
Honestly, if we're making this show officially, I'm not going to promise anything. I was going to say if we're making it officially every 2, we might be able to do them more, but I better not promise anything.
Yeah, I would not.
We're terrible.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you if you are a Patreon backer. That is awesome. Thank you for getting us through another year. If you are not a Patreon backer, thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us. We started the show in 2014. So
wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was towards the end of 2014, but yeah, we started in like fall of 2014.
Yeah. What is that? August? Yeah. August of 2014. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Although what I'm realizing is it's not right even for like if we did, because it's Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon S, Super S. Oh no, no, we're still late. We should have had the whole series done in 5 years.
Yes, we should have. There's 200 episodes.
Oh well.
Anyway, that's all I've got as far as announcements and business go. So if the two of you are ready, I think we can just jump right into this one.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Wait. We didn't
Yes.
do all the questions.
Oh, I guess, yeah. Karen, back to you. We have to do some questions.
Cool.
We've already kind of answered one. As long as you were serious, Chibi is your favorite scout?
Yeah, she's my favorite.
That actually takes care of two of our questions, the which is your favorite scout and what do you think of Chibi?
Yeah. I you know what? I just love that she's kind of nasty, but she's
That's true.
tiny, and I just really relate to that. And I think I've always related because I've always had like a chip on my shoulder and been small and feisty. And she was also, when I was like learning to draw, for some reason, she was like the go-to, just always with the giant pigtails and like the pink glittery. Like that was what I still love to draw. But when I was a child, she was all over my notebooks. I think I'm just biased.
Do you like Sailor Moon herself?
Yes.
Okay.
I like all of them, which I might be unpopular, but I like all of them except for and you're going to have to help me because I wrote all of them down, but I mostly know the American names.
That's awesome.
Is it Darren?
I like it.
Darren what is his Japanese name?
That is Mamoru Chiba.
Mamoru. Okay. I was like
Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, he's the only one whose name I didn't write down because he ain't shit. I don't like him. Though
That's
I
fine.
do feel a little for him in this arc, like
This arc where
Don't spoil it.
I guess
off
explodes.
to America.
Yeah, don't spoil it. He's pretty dead, right? So there you are.
He's dead. Yeah, definitely dead. I'm sure of it.
Okay, so you like them all. That's good. I mean, so because I the listeners already know this, but I dislike Chibi, but I dislike her mostly because how much I love Sailor Moon and she's so mean to her.
Right. I totally get that. I think my opinions of Sailor Moon were formed when I was small and wasn't jaded. So I was just like, I love girls who fight things. Like, so
same.
I think I just love all of them for different reasons.
That's great.
Can you give us like a quick rundown of your favorite thing about every Senshi?
Oh my, that's a lot of pressure.
Like
that's oh man, that's a lot of them. I will say, if I pick a few, I mean, Uranus and Neptune were like my gay representation before I even knew what that meant. They were like legit, I think, my first exposure to anything LGBTQ, which is how I identify. So I think like seeing that was just monumental. And now watching the show as an adult and seeing like all their quips together, just like, oh, okay. Like that's my new favorite thing about them.
They fucked me up. And here's why. Because I feel like they go back and forth between being like charmingly rascally and fucking assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, she was kind of like a few episodes ago when they were at the concert and the guy was like unzipping Michiru's dress. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then all of a sudden they were being like all coy with each other again. And I was like, is this just how your relationship is? Like, damn, okay.
And plus just again, like I said, I like Sailor Moon herself too much. The fact that all they do is walk around going, yeah, Sailor Moon, sure, you've been right every time before, but come on.
Yeah.
This time we got to murder people.
It's true. Which I didn't realize. See, and that's the thing, like, about watching it as an adult, I was like, oh, like, I just in my head imagined them to be these amazingly, like, well-rounded characters. And I was like, some of them, like, don't even talk in an episode. Like, they just stand there.
Like the one that baffles me, and I don't mean this as an offense, fans of her, but when people say that they're huge fans of Sailor Pluto, I'm always like, but like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, she's really not in it much, is she?
No. And the answer is the manga. The answer to all these questions is always the manga.
I think that's why I never had attachment to her, because she's like the one where I'm like, her design is cool, but I don't know that much about her. And it's probably because I never read the manga or saw these latter episodes.
She also does have the best attack animation.
She is just... She's cool. Like there's like cool, and then there's like, oh, she is like she walks into the room and she's cool. Like I respect
better than
that.
Gentle Uterus.
Oh my! I have so many notes about that, and they didn't do it in this episode. So I didn't get to ask about it. But I tweeted about it, and literally like 50 people were like, "Oh, you've never seen that before?" I was like, "What the fuck is that attack? Is there an explanation for it?" Because I couldn't find
we came up with.
On this show, and I do kind of dig it because she is Sailor Starmaker.
Yeah, of course.
And it is like the power of creation. Like I really dig that as a powerful metaphor there. It's still weird.
It's the star birth attack is what it is, I guess.
It's still weird. And like, I don't think I will ever be over that enough to just like, oh, have you never heard that before? No, it's always going to be like, yes, it's weird, right?
Yeah. It's weird.
What was the other one? What was Star Healer's attack? It was something else weird, but not as weird.
I mean, okay, I'm already on Wikimoon. Star Sensitive Inferno.
Yeah, which is
pretty cool. That when that is my new nickname. The Sensitive Inferno.
That's pretty great. It's pretty great.
What it really means is that I have anxiety and I'm mad a lot.
Which is a mood, I mean.
So we've covered most of the questions because you also said you hate Darien, which means you probably are not a fan of Usagi or Serena and Darien's romance.
I mean, and maybe this is like my feminist roots, but I was just like, I don't care about this. Like, I just want to watch girls doing cool stuff. Like, I at no point was interested in their romance and what happened to it. Like, I was just like, this is wasted screen time. It's like when you watch Game of Thrones and you're like, I don't care about the Greyjoys, but they're going to spend 20 fucking minutes on this. So you like fast forward through that part. Like, that's what their romance is for me. Like, I truly could not care less.
Okay. And then Chris's last question that he always wants to know is, what do you think of what he calls the real miracle romance between Jupiter and Mercury?
I don't even know what that is. What is
that?
Cookbook?
Oh.
Is the name of that ship.
That's
and
amazing.
Guess what? There's official merchandise for it now.
Is there really?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
There's Sailor Moon merchandise you can buy that is specifically pairing up, which again, it's Rei and Minako, which is canon.
Okay, no, but hold on. It's shirts that listen.
Yeah,
it's not pictures of them kissing. It's just their symbols together on a shirt.
Yeah, they're paired up.
Sure. It's not. Listen, that's fine. That is clearly what it's appealing to. Yes. And you know what? I did a Spider-Man Deadpool comic. I get it.
Oh my God.
But, I'm just saying.
I don't think I have any ships of it. I'm not a very shippy person in general, even with media that I really like. And again, this is probably just because like the age that I really consumed it is that I just didn't have that kind of opinion on things. I just wanted to watch them like beating up weird monsters. Like that was my whole world. Like I just every day, like I would wait to see like what weird thing they would try and kill, and like their friendship was awesome, but I didn't have like the mind to think any further than that.
I'm into it.
I'm sorry if that's a boring answer.
No, I mean, again, I tend to not see ship things other than the ones that are explicit.
Yeah,
myself. Which is what it is. So they are.
It's ridiculous.
It's fine.
It's a failure of imagination.
I do support it though. Like I wholly support anything even semi-gay. So I'm here for all of it. Like it doesn't take much.
All right. Well, now, Chris, let's talk about the show itself.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. As previously mentioned, this is episode 181 of Sailor Stars, Seiya and Usagi's Doki Doki Date. It was written by Kazuhiko Kobe. The director was Junichi Sato. The animation director was Miho Shimagasa. And it originally aired on July 20th, 1996. And you know what that means, Jordan?
I didn't actually hear the date.
July 20th.
Oh, it's almost Usagi's birthday?
It's just past Usagi's birthday. It's almost my wife's birthday.
Oh, well, no offense to her, but I don't think I knew that, so there you are.
That's fine.
I was looking up the director because I was like, that's very familiar, and he directed the first episode of the show ever, so there you go.
It also means that over half the year was done at this point, which means it's almost Christmas.
No, get out of here with that shit. No,
Never.
It's not even close to Christmas.
It's actually very close to Christmas for us.
No, but I'm talking about in July.
Christmas in July is a thing, Jordan.
No, and also it's not a real thing. Anyway,
I don't know. I've heard of it. Karen, have you heard of it?
Yeah, it's definitely Christmas in July is a thing.
Yeah,
I've heard of unicorns too, but they're not real.
Failure of imagination.
I can imagine a unicorn. It doesn't make it real.
I don't know why we get into these conversations. Please just tell me what happens in this show.
No, it's not time for that yet.
Oh, that's right. Karen, do you know about the game that we're playing with this season?
No.
This season was never poorly dubbed into English to air on Cartoon Network.
Amazing. I know, because I didn't watch it.
Right, which means it never got a bad title.
That's
from
right.
Deke or Cloverway.
Right, so you're naming them yourself, right?
Yes, very poorly, at least on my part.
So, Jordan, what would you call this episode?
Oh God, I can't believe. Did they go to a fair? I can't remember what they did on their date. They went to a fair, right?
Yeah, they go to like it looks like a carnival of some kind.
All right. All right. I guess I'm going to call it Date Disaster. Wow, that was terrible. Sorry.
I mean, that's probably what it would have been called by Deke.
Yeah.
You were very close to mine, Jordan, which is Affair to Remember.
Oh my God.
All right. That's better.
Yeah, thank you. Karen, do you have a suggested title?
Mine is way worse. I wrote Sailor Moon S. The S stands for steamy because I thought that this episode was so overtly sexual in ways that I wasn't prepared for.
I mean,
it is.
I mean, Mina does have tickets to a porno.
Okay, that was my first question.
Let's get to that when we get to that, because there's a lot to say about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Although that's very early on.
Yeah, it's in the opening scene.
Okay.
So take us through this opening scene.
All right. Well, this where do we start? Let's see. We start with oh God, what's this guy's name?
Taiki.
Mike.
Yes, the three lights. No, we've decided that because they're called the three lights because all three of them in Japan are named Light. Their first names are all Light. Those are their last names that they go by. And so we were saying in America, they would all be three guys named Mike and they'd be called the three Mikes. So Mike T is walking through a dark hallway
with his bad breath onion rings. With his bad self-running things.
He comes up and Mina kind of corners him. It actually isn't a dark hallway. It's just dramatic lighting. They're actually in the bright sunshine outside, and she's asking.
I love the way this scene is lit.
Hilarious.
Actually,
it's played as drama, like serious drama.
It's one of the best gags we've had in a while, as far as like actually funny bits on the show.
Long story short, she knows that he has a day off and is asking him on a date. And he's very upset because he's like, how do you know I have a day off? She's like, I have my sources. She asked him to go to a movie. He says no. And because then he says, no, I'm going to be writing lyrics. You know, this musician, this pop star is like, I'm going to be working on my songs. She goes, oh, cool. I'll come help. Which it's like the most crazy presumptuous shit I've ever heard.
It's a very Minako move, though.
I wrote that I admire her gusto. That's my first note. I was like, I respect it.
That's insane. If you ever meet a musician, don't offer to write songs with them unless you're a musician. That's my advice.
So funny.
You don't know that Mina's not a musician?
Actually, I do. I've watched all the episodes of the show.
Look, people reveal hidden talents on this show all the time. We didn't know.
No. Let me clarify. I don't mean unless you have musical aspirations. I mean you are a musician, so that you're not some asshole going, "Hey, why don't I write a song with you?" You're someone that you're like, "Oh, I've done a few albums too. Like, why don't we collabo? We'll do a joint concert." A joint concert.
Why don't we do a collabo?
That's what I said.
But yes, the movie, Taiki is not going to go to the movie. So
Usagi volunteers. Or no, no.
Usagi is like...
Was it Usagi? No, it's Jupiter. Jupiter volunteers.
Yes. So Usagi and Makoto show up, and they're like, well, what movie do you have tickets to? And in the Hulu version...
Oh, okay, yes. What do they say there? In the
Hulu version, the joke is that it's called...
Right.
Grown-up love is bleep.
That's the version I read. I saw.
Yeah. In the new dub, which, by the way, this was also a piece of Sailor Moon news, they have the dubs up through the 3rd season now.
Oh.
On Hulu. If you have not watched the Viz dubs, they're very, very good. Highly recommended. But in the dub version, it's just called... it doesn't do the same joke. It's called, like, adult love.
Oh.
I believe it was the joke. In the subtitles on the Blu-ray, it is called Grown Up Love is XXX.
Whoa!
Okay. I could not figure out. My note says Grown Up Love is bleep. What is the bleep in all capital letters? I couldn't figure out a word that fits there.
My wife and I our debate was whether it was Grown Up Love is fucking or Grown Up Love is shit. Those were our two versions, and we weren't sure which one it meant. But that sounds like it means fucking.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The Blu-ray's Grown Up Love is XXX.
Oh my god.
Which means Minako was trying to take Taiki to a dirty movie.
That's incredible.
Insane.
And she bought 2 tickets to it in advance.
And also, isn't she like 15? Like,
she is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that legal?
I don't know, and please do not tell us how you go see adult movies in Japan. I don't want to know.
What if you're ever in
literally
Japan?
Do not at me.
If you were supposed to say, "I will make it legal," that's the Star Wars reference. Your favorite
is it?
Yeah, that's from The Phantom Menace. Your favorite movie, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I only know about Yippee. No, this is pod racing.
There you go.
Jordan, remind me to tell you.
Oh.
I should maybe even do this on the mic. Remind me to tell you my version. What?
We are on the mic, so you are doing it on the mic.
Yeah, no, but maybe this will be bonus content. I don't know. But remind me to tell you my pitch for what episode 1 should have been that fixes the entire trilogy.
Do you mean what do you mean by trilogy? The
prequel trilogy.
Okay, well, I look forward to hearing.
It doesn't make it great because Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith are still very bad.
Oh, so you're saying you can change just episode 1 and it fixes 2 and 3 a bit?
Yes.
Wow.
It makes the story make more sense.
I love it. I can't wait.
So maybe I'll tell you that on the mic sometime. But it has absolutely nothing to do with Sailor Moon.
What if Sailor Moon was in it?
She would not be in it. I don't think she's in this galaxy. This very near galaxy.
Remember Sailor Alderaan? Remember Sailor Alderaan?
No, do not start. Do not start with this.
That wasn't me. That was one of our guests.
All
right. Back to the show.
Yeah, so Mina's gonna go see a porno.
But this is so fucked. And so, by the way, so when they find out
the second movie she's gonna go see,
they don't want to go. But then, actually, no. Wait, hold on. Wait, this just got even fuckeder because I just remembered. She goes, "I'm gonna go ask the other boy to go." Yaten, and Mina. I'm sorry, Lita, but also Makoto goes, if he says no, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
First of all, poor Rei and Ami, apparently.
Poor Rei and Ami, yeah. Well, maybe we don't know. Maybe they have an understanding.
Apparently.
Yeah, who knows?
And second of all, then Mina is like, hey, do you want to buy these from me?
Yeah, which is the second genuinely funny gag in this one scene, which is like, she's like, if that happens, will you buy these for face value?
Yeah. I know.
It's a good, strong opener.
This is a funny episode.
It is.
I thought so too.
I mean, it is like in this part, I think it gets, see, that's the thing. I think this episode gets kind of really boring later. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
But like the opening is good. The opening is very, very good.
So speaking of people knowing stuff, then we come across Seiya, and Seiya is like, "Hey, Usagi, you got nothing to do tomorrow. Let's hang out. Let's go out." And then Usagi tells us her busy schedule for the next day. She's going to get up. She's going to eat breakfast. She's going to watch TV, read manga, eat sweets, play video games. And that's when he cuts her off and is like, "So you got nothing."
No, that sounds like the perfect day.
I was going to say, there's not a soul among us that's been like, "Oh, I have plans. Sorry." And that's really what we're doing. Like, she was ahead of her time. Like,
Yeah.
So her mistake was being honest about what she was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would also tell you, like, hey, listen, I would love to go hang out, but that is a lie. I would not love to go hang out. What I would love to do is sleep until 10 and then read comics and eat M&Ms all day until it's time to play Assassin's Creed.
Until it's time? There's like a scheduled time for Assassin's Creed?
Yeah. It's when I finish whatever I'm reading.
Okay.
I read one book in the year 2019 from January to October.
What book?
The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova, which is very, very good.
Is it really long?
It is, but it's also like very dense.
Okay.
Right.
It's very dense and very deliberate, and it is a series of nesting narratives. So at one point I was reading the example I always give is that like at one point I'm 6 layers deep because I'm reading an account from a 14th century monk or a 16th century monk being written about by a scholar in Turkey, being translated by another guy, which is recorded in the main character's father's letters to her, which is being read by the main character.
All right.
Damn.
And it's like, it was not a book I could read before bed.
Right.
So
exactly.
I felt terrible because I only read like the one book all year. And then I knocked out 2 in December, so I felt a little bit better. And I've already finished 1 more this year. So I'm feeling good.
Nice.
Feeling good about reading. I do not read as many prose books as I used to and want to. So that is one of my goals for this year.
So when Seiya asks you on a date, you're going to be like, "I'm reading a book." You're going to be Ami about it.
Yes. Because I also don't like Seiya.
Me neither.
I mean, he's kind of a cocky jerk. But
yeah, and look, I'm going to be the cocky jerk in the relationship.
Here's the thing about him. He's also the best of the mics. Like,
He is.
I mean, yes.
the fact
But that's not saying much. The other two don't do anything.
Yeah, well,
Ever.
they what they do is be even snottier. Like, at least he like smiles when he's being a jerk because he's like, it's like ego, whereas they're just like, "Fuck you, I hate you," and it's like, "Oh, why don't we go out?" No.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of core of my problem, or not even really a problem, but like why this issue didn't really work, or this episode didn't really work for me. Because as I've said before, I know people ship them, and I know that's what the show is doing. But I do not feel like Seiya and Usagi have any chemistry.
I agree with that.
I mean, listen, I don't ship them, but I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of something.
Well, I mean, like, clearly that's what the show is doing, you know. And I know there are people out there who are into it.
Oh, speaking of Ami, she's got a good bit right here. I forgot it existed until I just saw her.
Let's continue.
Basically, Seiya responds, "So you're not doing anything. Cool. Meet me at the park at 11 a.m. tomorrow." Usagi screams after him like, "No, I said I was busy. Forget it. No, forget." And then Ami's there over her shoulder and sees all this. And Ami's just like, "I didn't see anything." And like tiptoes away.
Oh, Ami.
Literally with that sound effect.
Getting her screen time in.
I was going to say, she's in this episode for 0.3 seconds.
That was it.
Goodbye.
I mean, Ray's not in it.
She's not in it at all.
Yeah.
No.
And neither is, no, I was going to say neither is Yaten, but he is, right, at the end?
Yeah, they're together at like, and they're all at the club at the end,
right.
which is another like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm hoping that I'll understand it better as we go through it this way.
I hope you know that if and when Memory comes back, I am going to play My Boyfriend's Back in its entirety.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's sad that will never happen because he died.
Hey la, hey la.
So we cut from there to the title, and then we cut to the TV station. Here's my question about the TV station.
You're one.
I just have one.
Okay. Everything else about it makes perfect sense.
I guess it's like how real is it? Because there are all these shots of all this paperwork and shit, and I'm like, is it real paperwork, or is it just set dressing to cover up the fact that it's a fucking magical dark plot?
Excellent question.
Yeah, I don't know. My question was, who gave her a job? Like, I was like, is she actually working there?
I mean, it seems that she was given the job by what's her name, by Galaxia, but like, again, there are boxes and boxes and tons of papers and files with stuff sticking out of it, and it's like, does Nezu have to be like, well, gotta fill out triplicate, gotta file this away afterward? Like, what? I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it has been a while since we have this badly not known whether a business was real or not.
Because, like,
which is the hallmark of the first season of Sailor Moon. What was
last season? Who was the bad guy last season? Circus. Okay, that was real. Yeah, they really performed. It was a dumbass circus that made no sense, but they really performed. Yeah. The season before that was Tomoe, and he was a professor of some sort, and he had all these grad students, and I have no fucking clue what they were doing. But the idea that what they were doing was just evil science in general, and we don't need to know the specifics, is fine. Like,
my wife's in grad school now, and I really hope she is doing like UDL stuff.
It's like evil science that no one knows.
Yeah. Trying to murder people?
Yeah, like blowing people's hearts out of their chest with giant hypodermic needles.
I feel like she'd love that. Like that seems...
Look, it's a practical and useful skill.
Yeah.
Well, just tell her not to become the professor's favorite, or else the other girls will kill her.
True. Very true. So yeah, Usagi's going to go on this date with Seiya, which does not sit well with our friends in X-Force.
Oh, is that a thing? Did I miss that?
Yeah. When Haruka and Michiru show up after the Nezu scene.
Oh, well, we didn't do the Nezu scene yet.
Oh, well, okay, then do the Nezu scene.
This is an important scene.
I love this scene.
This is the start of the horror film that Nezu is in for this entire episode. Nezu is, if you remember, Nezu kind of is fucking up entirely and got warnings up the wazoo saying, if you fuck up one more time, like, this is serious. So now she's on a crowded commuter train, and the phone starts ringing, and she's like, what the fuck? And everywhere she turns, there's another phone that's ringing. Like, honestly, again, it's mostly played for laughs, but it also could easily be a horror movie. Somebody could probably recut this as a horror film.
By the way, they are full-size rotary phones.
Oh, yeah.
They're landlines.
She literally eventually, like, and they are everywhere, on the side of the train, in between cars, every single place. Eventually, she answers one. It's one that's on top of another commuter's head, nestled in his hair. She answers it, says, hello, Nezu here. Galaxia starts talking, and she hangs up on her and then realizes, oh, shit, that just made it so much worse. And then, finally, Chris, after an entire however many episodes it is that she's been in this, looking at pictures right next to the Three Lights pictures.
Oh, my God.
She finally gets a look at an ad for the Three Lights and goes, oh, wait a minute. The Three Lights are going to have the fucking star seeds.
She literally has to see a billboard.
And it
has to be that big a picture.
If only it had been like the Starseed tour. That would have been the only thing to make it better.
Their hot new single, We Have the Starseeds. We'd like to thank the Three Lights for the use of their song We Have the Starseeds, the official theme of SummerSlam.
And then we still aren't at X-Force yet. I don't know. We're at Usagi waiting in the park, and then we get to X-Force. Usagi's waiting in the park.
I'm sorry, I forgot to establish Usagi was in the park,
and that Seiya is late for the date, even though he set the time and the place.
Yes.
He's using what is the book, like he's keeping her waiting, the pickup artist book,
the dentist system.
There you go. There you
Oh
go.
my
Even better.
God. What a crossover. It's Always Sunny in Sailor Moon.
Every dude on this show acts like a pickup artist.
Yeah.
And they're all charmed by it. I'm like, what? Like, all the girls are tripping over themselves for I guess that's because they're pop stars and not because of their attitudes. But I'm just like, what, girl? Love yourself.
Also, he doesn't do it in the anime, but in the manga and in Crystal, like, don't forget the Tuxedo Mask first appears just wearing his tuxedo on the street on a Tuesday with his Dracula trophy.
It's effed up.
Yeah.
So now X-Force shows up. Tell us about X-Force.
So yeah, Haruka and Michiru are like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, well, first, actually, we get Luna saying, it's hard to believe Seiya would ask you out on a date. Which, Luna, I swan to John.
Luna Luna literally is like, maybe he's pranking you. Maybe this is what is it? She's all that? Which no, that's the other one. What's the one with the joke date?
Carrie.
No, the one where, well, sure, that does as well. You're right. This is Carrie. He's going to dump pork blood on you very shortly. I mean, that would have been a good twist.
Would it have been a good twist? Would it have been a good twist?
Yes,
Jordan.
An amazing twist. Speaking of fan art, Seiya dumping pig's blood on Sailor Moon. Go for it, everybody.
Don't. Mail that one directly to Jordan. I just don't know why Luna's being such an asshole. She's always an asshole. Come on. Yeah, that's how you end up with Artemis. The only thing that she doesn't do is go, he would never ask you out because you're so fat. That's the only thing missing from this episode. I had to pull some clips for Sailor Moon. One of the things I do at my day job is I take existing articles that are in the network, some of which I've written, which are always fun to do because I know exactly where to pull stuff from. But I pull like time codes and clips from things to make YouTube versions of the articles. And I did the script for I think it was Things Only Adults Notice in Sailor Moon, which was not an article I'd written because I didn't see it in time to claim it. But I signed up for it, and the editor was like, "Hey, just make sure you get all this right because the anime people." Right. Are gonna know if we get it wrong. And I was like, I think I got this. Pretty sure I have a working understanding of the anime Sailor Moon. Thank you. Which I did mention my tattoo. But I had to go back to the episode, like what was it, the third episode of the show that had
the gym. Yeah, the gym and Luna's mean fat Sailor Moon drawing. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Luna. Classic Luna. It is classic Luna. Literally. Episode 4. That's our screenshot of the episode. Yeah. It's fat Sailor Moon drawing that she did. It's terrible. It's really so mean. It's really mean. And again, as we discussed at the time, ridiculous considering the way the characters look.
Yeah, especially in this episode.
The fat characters in Sailor Moon are thin.
I know.
The ones that you're like, oh, they've coded that person as fat. They are like 5 pounds. Yeah, it's like Usagi's one classmate with the short hair.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh my God.
Who just has like a slightly rounder head than everyone else. This show, I love it, but boy, this show. So anyway, speaking of extremely thin people, yes, here come Haruka and Michiru. You got to talk about their outfits.
Amazing.
Karen, would you like to take us to Fashion Corner?
Oh, is that like a designated moment?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I am dying for their coordinated shirts that are like the broken, like the equivalent of like a BFF necklace where the broken heart down the middle. Like that's what it reminded me of. But also Haruka's arms in this one scene are so anatomically incorrect that that's all I can look at. Like
they do look a little ridiculous.
Like the top part of her arm is like 3/4 of her arm, and then her little forearm is like boop, right at the bottom. I love their
God, yeah. I think it's supposed to be perspective, but it's not.
It's not good. No.
I love their coordinated outfits, though. Like, we stand a couple. Like,
I love that they. First of all, that Haruka's is blue and Michiru's is pink.
Sure.
Defying gender norms, as always. I also love that they have, like, the awful pockets.
They do. Right on the boob.
The opposite color. But yeah, so he's like, yeah, I'm going on a date with Seiya. And Haruka's like, Seiya? Fuck Seiya.
Yeah.
That guy sucks. And I hate him.
Yeah, my girlfriend wife like almost slept with him for fun for like no reason just a couple of episodes ago.
So understandable. Like
that was insane.
Yes. So Michiru drags Haruka away.
You gotta talk about that.
Yes, but first, the line that she says to her.
Yes.
She writes, wait. It's too late once the wolf devours you, little kitten. I was like,
oh, yeah.
That was when this episode started to get sexy. It's like compounded by when they're walking away, but I was like, what? Like that sounds like a threat and a promise of a good time, like at the same time.
It's a very horny way to put that thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then what they say when they're walking away as well.
Yes, which is amazing. She says, what, like, you should be more gentle with me? And then she says, sure, maybe when we're alone later, or something like that.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
It just walks right up to, but does not have Michiru call Haruka daddy.
Yeah.
And then as Usagi's watching them walk away, she's like, now that's an adult relationship, isn't it?
That's an adult relationship that's bleep.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm looking again in this scene, especially in this outfit. Usagi is like absurdly thin. Like this is thin for this show too. Like this is not even like, oh, that's what they normally look like.
Yeah, she is like, and part of it is that she has the puffy shoulders. Because this is a new outfit for Usagi. We've never seen this one before. But she's got like big puffy shoulders, and then it's like it contours in at the waist, so it looks like she is tiny.
Yeah, it really does.
It's almost like Bayonetta proportions.
Yeah. She looks okay in the close-ups, but the long body shots, she is super skinny.
Yeah.
Yes. When you could see her full head to toe. Then Seiya walks up in his SOS outfit.
I love this outfit so much. This fit is fire, and people would wear this today. Like
he's wearing the 90s. Is what he's wearing.
It's brown. What is it? Brown and yellow stripes, or like brown and
I think yes,
cream.
And a backwards baseball hat.
Backwards. Don't forget those wraparound shades.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And is that what is the SOS? Is that part of his shirt?
I think so.
Is it like the bottom 12 inches of his shirt is all brown with big white or again cream letters that say SOS on both sides in the front and the back?
I think it only says it on the back.
Nope. It says it as he's walking up.
Oh my God, it does. Oh my God. Yep. That's even better.
It's got it on both sides.
He looks like a gallon of store brand ice cream.
Oh my God.
That is exactly what he looks like.
Yep.
I am not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Oh, we didn't talk
those
about
wraparound shades.
They really are a lot.
He always has the earrings. They're preposterous.
And like the rat tail to end all rat tails.
Yeah, I will never not think his hair is dumb. Like it always is dumb. All three of them have dumb hair.
They do. His is the worst.
They do have awful and intense mullets.
I don't know if his is the worst. Yeah, probably.
It's the bangs are too short too. It's like when you go as a person with bangs, like when you go get them cut and you're like, I only want a little off, and then you like leave and your entire forehead's exposed. Like that's what it reminds me of.
I think Yaten has the best, and I think Taiki has the worst. Taiki has kind of like a crew cut mullet.
Wait, but isn't his hair like slicked back?
Yeah, his hair is kind of slicked back, so I assumed that it was all long.
I don't think it is.
Oh, it's not? I just assumed it was all in a long ponytail.
No, I think they all have mullets.
I mean, it might just be like a real Steven Seagal sort of look, but it's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, now we love it. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an improvement.
It's awful. I mean, but they're all bad. I mean, you're right. Yaten is the best because at least it's not by having like, what is it, chin length hair? Like it helps it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we left out. We didn't talk about High Power Fighter Red, but oh well.
Yeah, Usagi plays with a child. Usagi's playing Power Rangers, and Sam makes fun of her because who would play with a child?
And who likes Power Rangers?
Yeah. Wrong joke to make on this show.
I was going to say, thank God Trace isn't here. Trace would have something
I'm only
to say.
kidding. All right. So then
Trace even likes the Power Rangers movie.
Trace loves everything that's ever been Power Rangers.
Yeah,
does not
which
matter.
I admire.
I do too. His devotion is unparalleled.
Speaking of amazing ridiculousness, the next scene is Yaten just talking on the phone with the bad guy, giving all the information away. It's literally Yaten on the phone being like, "Hello, this is Yaten. No, Taiki and I are not going anywhere. We're going to be staying here. Seiya isn't here. Taiki's working on lyrics." And Taiki's like, "Well, who was that?" And Yaten's like, "I don't know. I just told. Even if you're not." Even if you're not Sailor Scouts, that's a bad idea for celebrities to do.
I was just going to say, aren't they like at this point in time, like Justin Bieber levels of famous? Like, yes. That's what I keep comparing them to. Like, they're like 3 Justin Biebers. Like,
the 3 Justins.
The 3 Justins.
And the bad guy literally just calls them up from a payphone and is like, "Hey, Justin Bieber, what are you up to today?" And he's like, "Hanging out. I just figured I'll write some songs or something." Cool. Ridiculous.
So,
and then her phone keeps ringing. The phone pops up again as Iron Mouse skulks away.
I actually really like this kind of gag. I don't know why it made me laugh the way it did. I think it might be like the knockoff funeral march every time the phone appears. Oh, yeah. It's just like so dramatic.
It is. They play the funeral march there. Every time. It's so intense. Then we cut to a date montage.
Oh God!
Which, by the way, Usagi didn't think it was a date. When somebody brought up it was a date, Usagi was like, "What? No!" It's super a date.
Here's the thing, though. It's a date, and Seiya looks so disinterested in this entire montage. Like, they're not even looking at each other. Like, she's reacting to all the animals and the food, and he's literally just standing there, like, staring off into the distance, not engaging with her at all. I was like, dude, why did you ask her?
He's negging her, man. You're right. Like he's like looking away every time.
They have they have room for Jesus on the train.
This is not an adult relationship.
It's definitely not Triple X.
And then of course Usagi makes him buy her a ton of food. As
she should.
As is her right.
I mean, she got dragged on this date. As far as I'm concerned, if you're in a situation you don't want to be in, try to get free stuff out of it. I think it'll make it worth it.
Then they have a cute gag where they go into like a fun house, like a scary house, and they scream at all the scary things, and then they come out and there's just an employee who is ugly, and they scream at that person as well.
It's a real judgy show.
It's pretty funny. And then he pulls a Crane Game Joe.
Oh, love Crane Game Joe.
No, you don't. He's an asshole.
No, he's terrible. He uses his monster psychic powers to cheat at Crane Games.
Also, he was like a super dick to Makoto, wasn't he?
Yes.
So you're right. This guy's better than Crane Game Joe because he gets it on his own. But unlike Crane Game Joe, he doesn't give it to anybody. He just goes, "Cool." Now she's like, "Awesome, you won the thing I wanted." And he's like, "Yep, and it's mine now."
Yeah.
Yeah, I also wanted it. Sucks to be you, I guess. Kroger brand ice cream out.
He is. I mean, again, he's pickup artisting her so bad.
Yeah, I don't like him. See, that's the thing. I'm very disinterested in this entire sequence.
I think it's fun and funny. Like, I don't want them to hook up or anything.
Anyway, also disinterested in this sequence is the show, because now it's time for the act break. Hey, Jordan.
Yes.
No. Absolutely not.
That's what you're getting.
No.
Just
Hey,
keep
Jordan.
going. Yeah.
Just a little bit better, I guess.
Okay, good.
If people like this show,
Right.
and they want to ignore that noise you just made, how exactly can they go about supporting us and what we do?
Well, you mentioned earlier Patreon. It's the site people can go to. It's patreon.com/sailorbusiness. They can go there and become patrons of our show for as little as $1 a month and for as much as $60,000 a month, and not a penny more. But in between, there's a bunch of other levels, like the $15 level where you can get a ceramic pin of especially
enamel, not ceramic.
No, you're right. What is it?
Enamel. It's an
Enamel. That's what I meant. Yeah, enamel. Not ceramic. That would be way more expensive. An enamel pin. Love it. They're beautiful. There's two. There's a Sailor Moon tennis ball Sailor Moon, and there's a Luna that says "Act Sorry." They are both delightful. And then for less than that, for $5 a month, you can get outtakes like some fun stuff we talked about Pokemon a little while ago. That went up, right?
Yeah, that's up.
Okay, good. So you should check that out. I
might actually have a blooper reel that I haven't put up. I just realized that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully that's up now.
But that's how they do it.
And you can join our fine patrons, like these new patrons that we have, like Stormy Boy.
Thank you, Stormy Boy.
Kraken Jillick.
Thank you, Kraken.
And Joey Crack.
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah. Those are our newest patrons. Thank you. Speaking of the Patreon, I believe all of the pins up to the end of the year have gone out. That's the last bit I heard from Jake. So everyone should have them hopefully by the time you're hearing this. If you are expecting one and you don't have it, shoot me an email to the Sailor Business account, which I have not checked in a while because I have huge anxiety about it for some reason, or to my email, which is chris@the-isb.com. That one I will definitely see. But everyone should have them, and new ones will be going out soon for new patrons.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks for supporting the show.
Thank you so much.
Do we do anything else in this segment, Jordan? It's been a while.
Well, on and off we have, but I think we're good for now. We've been talking a lot about this episode. All
right. Then let's just get right back to it. Karen, checking in. You good?
I am here. Yep.
Here and good are two different things.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I was pretty sure I wasn't supposed to contribute to that part, so I was
listen, you can contribute whenever and however much as you want.
As long as you're not don't support them, that's a bad idea. Don't say that.
No, you absolutely should support them.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the show.
So when we cut back to the show, what we see is Usagi and Seiya talking to each other, and a window behind them, and they are clearly ascending above the city. And I immediately went, and I even put in my notes, uh-oh, they're in an elevator.
Oh, that's where it all goes down.
Because that's where all the big romantic moments of the show happen are in an elevator.
It's a very funny joke I just made. Just did not
oh
get acknowledged by George.
It took a second.
Going down. Well, because I literally said they were going up.
I know what you said.
Okay.
Listen to me. Pay attention to me. That's all I've ever wanted.
What was that?
Please continue the show.
They're not in an elevator. They're on a. I almost said carousel. I meant to say
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. Yes.
Yeah, which nothing ever happens on a Ferris wheel.
Nothing romantic.
Not once, not ever. Except, I guess, in the major motion picture Love, Simon.
I was just going to say, what? That's like the climax of Love, Simon.
I didn't see that, despite all the ads on Riverdale.
Oh my God, that's right. The ads were egregious on Riverdale.
They really were. Wasn't that the one that they like go to see like in the show and everything? Like,
yes. What does Cheryl go to see? And she's like, the movie changed my life.
But instead of being romantic, like this, it gets serious on the Ferris wheel, because he starts talking about. So what you said, you have a fucking boyfriend? What's this bullshit? And she's like, yeah, he went off to America and I write to him every day. I love him, but I haven't heard back from him yet at all.
I feel like I did hear back, but it was just kaboom.
So here's the thing. Like, I look forward to the show following up on this, but like, yeah, it seems like it would be big news for this flight from Japan to fucking explode over the ocean on the way to America. And that someone who was sitting there going, oh man, I miss my boyfriend who just left on a plane to America, might hear about it and worry. But I guess not. Anyway, Seiya does feel bad for her. And then that's when he starts looking at her and being like, you know what? She looks kind of like a princess.
She does, in fact, look kind of like a princess. She's actually kind of like a very specific princess. She kind of looks like Princess Serenity from the Moon, but
we don't know if he knows her.
No, but we do.
We don't know.
No, we know she looks like Princess Serenity.
Oh, we know
Jordan.
that she looks like her. Yes, we don't know if he knows that though. So
yes.
So he goes, "Hey, listen, cheer up. I'll take you somewhere special. Don't tell anybody about it. It's our secret." And he takes her to Bar Space Edge.
Oh my God.
It's such a shame that Mars 2112 closed.
Yeah, I never got to go to it.
Oh, I did.
Oh, how was it?
Exactly as you would expect.
Was it a lot like Bar Space Edge?
No. I think thematically, yes, okay. But in practically, no.
Yeah,
Karen, did you ever go to Mars 2112?
No, I'm so sad that I never got. When did it close?
Sometime in the last 9 years, because it was right near the Marvel offices that we just moved out of. When we moved in, it was open, and we joked about, haha, we should go there, but we didn't, and then it closed. And we were like, oh well, never mind.
All right, now I'm looking it up because I was curious, and it says that it temporarily closed in 2001 and then never opened again. Is that true?
No, it couldn't have been 2001 because I didn't go to. I didn't go to New York until like 2010.
Oh, never mind. That was the wrong location. It doesn't say when it.
That was the one on Mars.
Oh, this one says it closed in 2012.
Yes,
this one said it closed in 2012. I never got to go because I would have been not old enough. I don't think. Right? It was a bar.
No, it was for children.
No, yeah, it was a restaurant that was made to look like you were on Mars.
Oh no, never went, which is
and so there would be like dudes walking around in like alien costumes, and every now and then they would like
Rainforest Cafe, but for aliens.
Or Jekyll and Hyde. Did you ever been to Jekyll and Hyde?
No.
It's the same thing, but like, goofy, spooky horror, mad scientists wandering around, and
we did Rainforest Cafe all the time, where it would like rain in the middle of your meal, and the animals would start like screaming. Have you guys never did that one?
No, I have no idea what that is. That sounds bananas.
Oh my God. Okay, so think animatronic animals, but not like Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. Like,
yeah,
like when you go to
real.
Yeah, like when you go to Disney and you go to what's the safari section of Disney? I don't remember. I haven't been in a long time. Animal Kingdom. Like when you go to Animal Kingdom and there's like the really realistic like statues of animals and animatronics, it feels like you're in the rainforest and all the animals move and you get to sit like at a table and there's like an animal and like every 5 minutes it'll like move or like roar or do something. And then every hour it just starts raining because it's the rainforest.
That's bananas.
Yeah. I think they might all be closed now, but when I was a kid, that was like the move. If my parents were like, oh my God, please shut the fuck up for 5 minutes, like we'll take you to the Rainforest Cafe.
Is there still there apparently I remember people talking about, we're so off topic. I remember people talking about a ninja restaurant in New York City as well, but I never went to that either.
Yes, that is a thing.
That's a thing?
I don't know if it's still around though. That absolutely was a thing.
Did you go to that?
No, I never went to that.
You just heard about it.
My parents were not super into themed restaurants, but I was obsessed with animals, so we went to the rainforest one.
I had a friend who worked at Jekyll and Hyde because he was an actor, so they hire actors to play all the ridiculous roles. So he was a mad scientist there for a while.
That's so cool. What a cool job.
Anyway, so off
sorry
topic.
about that.
No, it's great. That's the show, right? Bar Space Edge. It's a very loud club.
Yeah, so here's my question, is that they have this like intense heart-to-heart, and then he's like, you know where I'm going to take you? To like this seedy, loud club that you're definitely not even old enough to get into. Right? Unless there are bars for teenagers in Japan?
Maybe. But this is the club that, well, first of all, they're famous, so they can do whatever they want.
Right. That much I gathered, yeah.
And that's shown to be true because they literally, well, in a moment, they're going to get like a private back room that is so like in a club that is so private of a back room in a club that like you close the door and you don't even hear the fucking club anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's a private apartment with soundproof walls in a club. Anyway, Nezu is there as well. Nezu is there going, I found out that this is the club where the three lights come and hang out. So she's trying to, get their star seeds. She sees Usagi walk in with Seiya. They, as I said, go through to the secret back chambers where things get horny again. Oh, also, by the way, Yaten and Taiki are there, even though they were both earlier saying like, no, we're not going anywhere. They went out. And they're at the club, also in another private room, but one where they can see Seiya showing up and go, what the fuck? And so Seiya does that natural thing that you totally do when you take someone to a club. You go, so is this your first time?
Oh my God.
Is this your first time? Don't worry, I'll be easy on you. Oh, I mean your first time dancing. Like, that's a natural question that everybody asks, right?
And her face, her animated face during this whole sequence might be like my favorite expression that I've ever seen on her. It's just like,
it's like Charlie Brown.
Yeah, it really is. Like her eyes are like dots and her entire face is just her mouth. Like, yeah, I thought for sure he was putting the moves on her. And I know that's what we're supposed to believe, but then I'm like, but then they just had this talk about how like she's not interested in him because she's so obsessed with him. This like gag was a lot, I think.
No, it was ridiculous. Like I said, like no one would ever say those words about, unless he's like, what'll be funny is if I talk to her about dancing like it's sex. But even that is still weird and creepy and awful.
Right. And forgive me if I missed this. What is the age difference between them? Because they're the same age difference? They are the same age. That's what I thought.
No, they're the same age.
But it is worth mentioning, I did make a note about this too, but I just didn't talk about it, that unfortunately in the scene where she talks about her boyfriend Mamoru, they once again reiterate that he's in fucking college, that she's a high school freshman. And he's abroad doing his fucking college studies. Yeah. God damn. But anyway, yes, no, her and Seiya are in the same grade. So they're about the same age, if not the same age.
Right. Okay. Because I was like, he's so much bigger than her. I don't know why that, to me in my brain, I'm like, he's just so tall.
other than his complete dumbass haircut, he looks like a 23-year-old, like 100%.
Yeah.
And even his dumbass haircut could be a 23-year-old dumbass haircut. So while they're dancing in the club, she's having a great time actually dancing once they're dancing. While they're doing that, all of a sudden the power goes out. It's Sailor Iron Mouse has cut the power.
Mm-hmm.
And Seiya is disturbed by this power outage and holds Usagi close. And Usagi's like, oh man, it feels nice to be held close like this.
I know. I felt for her in this moment, for real.
Because
she really just is having, because she misses Mamoru, and like this is the closest thing she's had since he's been gone. I'm sure that's tough, even if he's 19.
And they're not dissimilar looking, because everybody on the show is kind of similar looking.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, she has a little fantasy of Mamoru and like, oh man, I remember him. He was amazing and beautiful.
She fantasizes about Mamoru with his shirt unbuttoned more than we have ever seen Mamoru with his shirt unbuttoned.
For sure. Yeah,
he's got a deep V and a high collar.
That was
here looking like Iron Fist.
Well, her mind is on that XXX. She's going there.
My wife was definitely like, when did he ever wear that outfit? And I was like, I don't think he ever did. Also completely smooth chest.
You know what's funny is that
there.
Usagi's in an adult relationship, but Mamoru isn't.
Oh my god, I hate that.
It's very weird. He's 45 years old.
And then again, I don't think this is intended to sound as creepy and gross as it is, but I've come for your starseed is said again.
I mean, yeah, you want to talk about perfectly natural things that everyone always says all the time.
I've come for your starseed.
Perfectly chill and normal things to say.
He tells Usagi to run away, which she does, which is a good opportunity for her to go transform, so that's good. Iron Mouse tries to zap him with her bracelets. It doesn't work because he's secretly, as you know, a Sailor Scout and was able to like do acrobatics or whatnot to avoid the attack, and then transform into Sailor Star Fighter.
Yes,
we get to see that transformation again.
Right, and then the other two are just like, oh, I guess we're going to do this, and they show up.
Yep, they just appear out of nowhere, which is great. And Nezu's like, nobody told me you were Sailor Scouts. God damn it.
But hasn't she, and this is what truly gets me, which I'm sure is the point, is that, like, hasn't she seen them now a bajillion times? Like,
yes, but not transform. She's seen the Sailor Stars show up.
But she's never seen one. She's never seen them transform like in front of her eyes. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. And also, the Three Lights are men, and the Sailor Starlights are women. Both very clearly so.
Yes. Which baffled me so I didn't watch these episodes as a kid, but I had like the books and the drawings, and I would go on Google and like Google it, and I was like, I never got it. I was like, are they the same people or not?
They are.
Yeah, no one ever explained it to me. I think it's dope. I love it as an adult, but as a kid, I was like, I don't get it. So I kind of get how Usagi doesn't get it, and how she doesn't put two and two together. But the fact that she shows up and transformed, and he's like, "Is that Usagi?" I'm like, "What?"
That breaks the show.
Yeah,
like you can't do that. Because, again, Usagi's brother, Usagi's father, they both see her as Sailor Moon and are like, different person, not her.
Yes, but
he starts to get it in this episode. Like, there's a moment where he or she now overlays like that. Like, she goes to pick up the little bear that fell up on the floor.
No, yeah.
And he like overlays it, and he's like, "Are they the same?" I'm like, "You're almost there. You're so close."
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that breaks the show. For someone to look at Sailor Moon and be like, hang on, that's Usagi, is like, no, you can't, we cannot accept that someone could do that. That ruins it.
Right. That's a good point.
That would be somebody going, look, it's Clark Kent with the glasses.
Seiya's magic, though, is the thing.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right.
Well, But also, I guess the plenty of bad guys are also magic.
He's using Sailor Sight.
A new power.
Oh, Sailor Eyes, which is mentioned in the theme song to this season. Anyway, so now Nezu knows that Seiya is Sailor Starfighter, even though Sailor Moon doesn't. And so rather Iron Mouse. So Iron Mouse is going, I'm going to fucking tell your secret. Here's the secret. And then he's like, Serious Laser.
Yeah.
she's like. But she gets into her TARDIS and it protects her. and then Iron Mouse is like, so anyway, I'm going to blackmail you into tearing your own soul out. If you don't rip the soul out of your body and give it to me, I'm going to tell your secret.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what she says. But before she can make good on that threat, the phone appears again, and foolishly she picks it up.
Yeah.
And Galaxia says, "Hey, thanks for taking my call. You're dead."
Yeah. And then she tries to bargain for her life with a joke.
Oh, yeah.
A riddle.
A riddle.
And I don't know if this riddle, just the translation, confuses it to me. I could not, for the life of me, figure out where the riddle was going. Do either of you know the answer?
I have the answer. Yes, it's on Wikimoon. So here's the deal. It's a pun. It's a pun based on Japanese. So the riddle is, a pig chef and a horse chef compete at making tonkatsu. Who is the winner? And it explains that tonkatsu also means pig wins. So if you say pig wins, you say tonkatsu. And if a dish tastes good, you might say umakata, which also means horse wins.
Oh.
So it's just a cute joke of which one of them wins. And then you say something funny either way.
That's definitely, I was like, man, I'm sure there's an answer to this riddle. But I figured either one of you would have it, or it would just be funny because I would just never know. And then she just poofs and goes away.
Apparently in the Viz dub, she uses the Sphinx's riddle, Chris? Is that what it says?
Yes.
I think she should have used, although I wonder, that's probably not in the public domain, is it? I was going to say she should have used, they should have had her use the Alice in Wonderland one.
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference between a raven and a writing desk?
It's actually the opposite. That's why is a raven.
There you go.
Like a writing desk.
You're right. That is what it is. That makes it make more sense. And it's a famous riddle that has no answer, except that people have written some good answers since then.
People have written answers. None of them are good.
You don't like Poe wrote on both?
No.
I like that one a lot.
Good.
I like that one. Anyway, there was another one, but I can't remember it. Anyway, but the Sphinx's riddle, I don't know why she would say that. I think everybody knows the answer to that one. It's very famous.
I don't know if I know that one. Which one?
Wait, really? It? What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening?
Oh, is it an old man?
Well,
or a man throughout his life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah. No, I have heard that one. I just didn't know it was referred to as that.
Somebody must have done a sketch, right? Where somebody asks the riddle of the Sphinx, and then they're like, I don't know what's the answer. And the Sphinx is like, it's a person because this is when they're a baby, and this is when they're an adult, and this is when they're old. And the person is just like, that's not in one fucking day. That's bullshit.
Yeah, it really is. That's like if you're a fly that lives for 16 hours or something, maybe.
So it's Brundlefly is the answer.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, she's dead. Galaxia murders her in her TARDIS.
R.I.P.
And they're
R.I.P.
all
in peace.
Oh, and Galaxia shows up to kill her. So they all get a look at Galaxia.
Right. Is this her first time on Earth? Is that what they say? Or it's the first time they've encountered her on Earth?
It's definitely the first time they've seen her, I think. Because they're all like, who the fuck is that? And then she disappears. Or no, she disappears, right? She
just kind of shows up and then is like, bye. She shows up to do her job and then she's out.
She says she's the master of the Milky Way. Then the Starlights are like, Galaxia, she's the one who destroyed our home. And Sailor Moon is like, whoa, let's work together and defeat this woman. And they are like, we're not here to help Earth. Fuck off.
Yeah. But here's my question. So they're like, we're not here to help Earth, but they have a feeling that the princess that they're trying to reach out to is on Earth. So shouldn't they kind of have some investment in Earth?
Yeah, at least you have to keep it alive long enough to find her.
Yeah.
But I think they're like, no, we're going to find her real quick and then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, even though they have not found her at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What else? So then she transforms back. She meets up with Seiya, finds out that he's okay. And how does it end? I don't even remember. I was so distracted by how ridiculously thin she is.
Yeah. Especially in this outfit, Chris was right. It's just like the proportions of the outfit, really. It's kind of him looking at her, right? Like in this way where he realizes that she really does look like a princess of some kind.
But he also is like, oh man, she definitely couldn't be Sailor Moon. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, is that the conclusion that he reaches?
She couldn't possibly be.
Right. I guess I thought that was like rhetorical. Like, is she? No. Okay, maybe. Like I thought like maybe he was finally starting to get there.
I think he was, but then he went, but remember her, like she's like a klutz and stuff.
Yeah, she is looking kind of like completely naive in this shot. Like, yeah, no, she could not possibly be like the guardian of the universe.
And that is the end.
Right. So now it's time for us to talk about what we've learned from this episode. It's time for Sailor Business Says. Karen, we will start with you. What did you learn from this episode of Sailor Moon?
Man, that Seiya ain't shit. Like that. Other than that, I feel like that love is powerful and not like kind of naively powerful. Like she goes on this date with him, and all of these different things are happening to her, and still her mind goes to Mamoru. Like he's just her constant thing, even when everything else seems to be changing. And like, regardless of what I think about their relationship or of him, like I feel like that is kind of a powerful thing underneath all the ridiculousness that's going on in this episode. I kind of
that's like a legitimate moral.
Was I not supposed to have a legitimate one?
I love it. We love it.
Yes, usually I do a goof. Jordan, what did you learn from this episode?
I mean, I also learned a goof. There's a lot of great dating advice in this episode, but I think the best dating advice in this episode is ask someone to a movie and don't tell them it's a porn.
I mean, maybe if she told him it was a porn, maybe he would have gone. He's a teenage boy. That's
true. That's true. How about you, Chris?
I learned that they really have committed to Minako being the horny one.
Oh, yeah. It's a fact, Jack.
So yeah, it's, like I said, for me, a fine episode. We are so far into the season, I just do not care about Seiya. I don't really care about the Sailor Starlights.
Me neither. And I hate that because I think they're, aside from the horrible haircuts, I think they're a really cool design and a concept, but I don't think we've been made to care about them that much.
All right,
that's exactly where I am.
I'm going to say the bad thing. What makes them any worse than X-Force? Who also came into the show and were a bunch of assholes and tried to like murder everyone and didn't care about anyone.
I mean, like, I think I don't know. I do think that like Haruka and Michiru are stronger characters. Like I can't really tell you two things about any of them. I don't think I can tell you one thing about Taiki. Like Yaten's smart, so I got that one.
Yeah, but what is
Taiki? Is he's the mean one.
Is he the one that was on a cooking show? Did the cooking show thing?
Yeah.
See, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have
been. They're all named Mike. It's they all blend together.
Yeah, they just have. I think it's that their objective to me is kind of like wishy-washy. Like they're like, we're here to communicate with the princess, but we don't know anything about it beyond that. Like I wish there was an episode where we kind of got like their backstory, and maybe it's coming up and I just don't know. But maybe like an episode that goes into their backstory and why they're on this mission of coming to Earth and looking for this person. Like that I think would make me invested in them, but we haven't really gotten anything from their point of view. It shows why they're important.
Yeah. Also, when when Haruka and Michiru showed up, we had not seen Haruka and Michiru show up already.
Oh, you're saying the fact that they're X-Force 2, it hurts them.
So
Sure.
we're going through this whole thing again.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. And also, everyone in X-Force is a million times better looking than them. Even if we're only because they don't have the dumbass hair.
The hair really kills
That's
it.
true.
It really does.
I think the uniforms are kind of cool and like BDSM-y. Like
the uniforms are cool. Like I also like that they are subtly Sailor Scout uniforms.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not working for me.
I also think it might be just like late in the game syndrome. Like we've had so many seasons with all of the other ones that you're attached to them, and then these guys kind of like show up right at the end. And you're kind of like, man, we already have that. It's like you said, like we already have X-Force, as you call them. Like they're not that different from them.
They're not. Oh well.
Oh well, indeed. But I mean, some good stuff. The opening's really strong.
The opening, the theme song? Yeah, it's amazing.
No, like the opening scene with Minako.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Who does not show up for the rest of the episode. Presumably she's just at that theater now.
Oh my God. I hope she is.
With Makoto.
Yeah. Like and it's like a 4-hour like French film. And they're like, this is not what
4-hour smut film.
It's a Swedish drama.
Oh, this is like the Cousins Dangerous.
Naked Lunch.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm talking about Arrested Development. The movie they go see about the cousins.
Les Cousins Dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, I'm saying it has nothing. There's nothing sexy about it.
There's nothing sexy about it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a drama.
Gotcha.
And it's very disappointing. That's a long way to go for that joke. So yeah, that is the episode. Karen, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get out of here, would you like to tell everyone where they can find you, should you wish to be found?
Sure. You can find me mainly on Twitter, but also on Instagram. And it's just my full name, Kerin Cunningham. And that's it.
Cool.
Jordan, where can everybody find us?
You can find the podcast on Twitter at Sailor Business. You can find me on Twitter at Crackshot with a 0 instead of